Most people think that TSM's going to win. We're the underdogs going into this match. I think it's going to be a really tough battle, but we can definitely pull it off.
플레이오프에서 솔직히 가장 쉬운 상대를 만난 것 같거든요. 그래서 그래피티 만난 거에 굉장히 저희 만족하고 있고요.
I think Bjergsen's fallen off a lot lately. If Kian gets a good matchup and he doesn't get camped mid, he'll actually beat Bjergsen.
Kian definitely has some surprise picks. That definitely does throw Bjergsen up.
We still feel comfortable because first of all, it's the best of 5.
TSM is a pretty clutch team when it comes to best of 5s. We adapt.
A player's biggest asset is to be able to reset, and if you can't reset, you'll be stuck in the past.
Last time we played TSM, we just outdrafted them in every way. They won't expect our champion picks.
Yeah, I definitely feel like we can take them down. Even though we went 1-1, the whole season includes the playoffs, and that's where anything can really change.
I think TSM is pretty weak right now, so I'm pretty confident for our match. I know I'll be Dyers for sure.
TSM as a team has always made it to playoffs, oftentimes won playoffs and always made it to the world, so I'm not going to let that down.
Welcome to day 2 of the 2015 Summer Playoffs, coming to you live from our studios here in Los Angeles, California. The fans are packed in and ready for another important matchup that will shape the playoff race. As you see in the crowd, plenty of cheers. TSM heading into the studio just a short time ago and out to defend their North American crown. They're going to be facing off against Gravity, and here's their shot caller, Bunny Fufu, and Alltech getting ready in the locker room. Hello, everyone. I'm James Dash Patterson. It's great to have you back with us as the teams continue their march towards Madison Square Garden. Anchoring the analyst desk with me are Sam Kobe Hartman-Kensler and David Freak Turley. Yeah! We did it! We nailed it! All right. Well, with one quarterfinal down, let's see how the bracket looks. Team Impulse swept their series against Team Dignitas. In addition to securing their place in the semifinals to face off against Counterlogic Gaming, Impulse has guaranteed a minimum of 40 championship points. Add those to their 30 points from the spring split, and Team Impulse have locked in a spot in the regional qualifier. That means Team Dignitas are knocked out of contention for the World Championship. But their loss is Gravity's gain, and they are now guaranteed a spot in the regional qualifier as well. Of course, there's still a little matter of the title of North American champions to settle first. So with that in mind, let's jump right into today's quarterfinal matchup. Gravity versus TSM. Over the course of the summer split, both of these teams reached the top of the league only to suffer dramatic drop-offs at the end.
Yeah, and I want to start by talking about Gravity for a bit, because at one point they were the #1 team in North America. They looked so incredibly strong. The new guy Move came in and did awesome. All-Tech fit right in as AD carry, and this team worked so well, and then it disappeared. Right? And to talk about Move a little bit, he was the ward leader by so much. He was second place in wards placed, first place in wards killed. He was just absolutely wonderful as a player, and then for some reason the last 2 weeks it just disappeared. He put wards down again, but he started dying so many more times per game, and the whole Team Gravity game plan just fell apart.
Yeah, it really has declined in recent weeks, so they've got to turn it around here. Gravity, they're definitely one of the most diverse teams in Champion Select, and it's a really big tool that they have that they've been able to use in best-of-1 scenarios. It's going to be harder for them in best-of-5s. You know, champions that they've already been able to flex around to multiple lanes like Rumble, Shen, Hecarim, Jarvan, Nautilus, of course Urgot and things like this as well for surprise picks. Those are really big things for Gravity on red side when they can guarantee counter pick. But historically, TSM, they performed really well in best-of-5 situations when they have time to alter their game plan between games. And it's going to be very important for Gravity and their coach, or against Gravity, for their coach Loco Doco to not only help them in between games to adjust, you know, after something like a loss, but on stage as well in Champion Select. They can't afford to have another event like MSI, where they were faced with a different champion in Champ Select like Cassiopeia top, and they go into the game with no game plan, and they flounder around, and they crash and burn. This team, Gravity, is the most likely team in North America to do that to them, so they have to be ready for it.
Right, and our champions, TSM, have struggled throughout the regular season and made some big changes to try and right the ship. First, they brought on Keith to try out for the AD carry role. Then Reginald stepped in to have a bigger role in the team's coaching, but nothing has returned TSM to form, and now they're starting playoffs with the lowest seeding they've ever had.
Yeah, this is where a lot of the pressure comes for a lot of these players as well. You know, we talked about Reggie coming in, but also the low finish. It seems like a lot of the players on this team are kind of scared to make mistakes, and they don't really feel empowered to make game-changing plays besides Bjergsen. You know, even when Lustboy does go for initiations, they don't have the communication and the coordination to follow up on it. Now, there is also the tendency of TSM recently to play very long games, the longest average games in North American LCS, and they have the lowest cumulative kills per minute of both them and their opponents in those games at 0.59, I think, which just goes to show that there's a lot less action in TSM games. Yeah. Often, you know, because they're playing poke champions and they're trying to delay, but it's this very risk-averse style, and they're also averse to any sort of confrontation, it seems like.
Yeah, and this is, I think, a big failing point of TSM, because I think actually playing aggressively is a good thing in League of Legends. Like, you should have multiple kills in your games. And honestly, even though Bjergsen himself is an amazing player and the TSM formula for success, or at least their just formula, because it's, you know, only moderately successful, is Bjergsen goes off, Bjergsen hard carries. Okay, Bjergsen's great, right? He is the damage leader in North America. He is second place behind Doublelift in kills. Like, he is phenomenal. The pressure's on his shoulders, and he's still holding up the world like he's Atlas. But the problem is TSM needs someone else to do well on this team. Way back when, Chaos was actually a good cleanup AD carry. When Wild Turtle first joined TSM, he was a great cleanup AD carry. He'd actually play aggressively sometimes and get resets. Like, if you go to, like, watch old TSM playoffs, Turtle gets like a quadra kill in a team fight on Tristana because he's there as supplemental damage. But right now, that's not happening. Turtle is, I think, the lowest damage dealing AD carry in North America right now. And some of that, again, is, as you talked about, poke teams and whatnot. But the fact that no one's really there and set up to be a secondary threat there is a huge problem. And even to spin that into champion select, when you've got champions like mid Jarvan and mid Urgot being almost commonplace, those are really good against single threat teams, because you dive the single threat and then TSM has nothing left in their comp. So those are things that I think we need to see Dyrus or Turtle show up as damage threats.
Yeah, the game where Gravity beat TSM in the regular season, they designed their entire composition around killing the AP Ezreal, diving to the backline and killing Bjergsen, and it worked out.
We talk about TSM needing more than just their players to perform, Loco Doco needing to step up. Well, a short time ago, Riv spoke with TSM's coach to get an insider's perspective on the series.
Hey everyone, Rivington here in the Esports Lounge, joined by Loco Doco. Loco, a huge match versus Gravity today. You guys have had weeks to prepare for it, but I want to step back a little bit and look at the split in general. A few mishaps here and there. You guys have had some troublesome spots. What have you done to remedy those situations?
We've gone really back to basics, fixed a lot of our fundamental problems. We haven't had to done anything dramatic. I feel like with our team, all the pieces are there, and it's about putting it in the right way and fixing the basic problems we had with communication and how we use our jungle early, and our team looks a lot better now.
And is Reginald still stepping in for a bit of a voice, or are you guys trying to wean off of that and more back to coaching position?
Reggie's still very hands-on. He's with us there for all the scrim sets. I mean, he's doing less than he first started, but he's definitely there and leading the charge.
And Loco, you guys have had some time off now to prepare for this game coming, and a lot of people feel that that will benefit Team Solo Mid. What have you done in these weeks to prepare, and what do you think of that?
Well, to prep for Gravity, I mean, it's the same thing as I said earlier. They are a pretty inexperienced team in terms of playoff, and we're really experienced. We handle pressure just fine, so make sure our basics are solid. Nothing too flashy, nothing too new, and just beat them the good old TSM way.
The good old TSM way. What is that way? Because Gravity has come out with great pick and ban phase. They understand now what to do in the early game with Bunny Fufu shot calling. How do you feel like that matchup is going to go today? Final question, Loco.
In terms of shot calling?
Oh, just in terms of the match in general. With Gravity having all those strong points coming through the season, how do you feel TSM is going to do today?
I think we might drop one game to something we didn't expect, or if they have something really, really well prepped. But after that, I think our basics will just carry us through. Our good laning, our good early game pressure, our good team fight will just carry us through.
A lot of pros there, Loco. Best of luck in the matchup. I know it's going to be a tough one. Hopefully TSM is prepared well. We're going to now throw it back to the guys at their desk.
Well, we heard it there. He identified a lot of the same issues that we pointed out. Now the question is whether or not they've made the proper adjustments, and we'll find out soon enough. Now, as we throw it over to our caster desk to kick off the games, Lustboy tells us he's feeling confident in their matchup against Gravity.
플레이오프에서 솔직히 가장 쉬운 상대를 만난 것 같거든요. 그래서 그래비티 만난 거에 굉장히 저희 만족하고 있고요. 아마 그래비티전은 아마 3대 0이나 3대 1로 정도로 이기고 다음 플레이오프를 별로 걱정 없이 준비할 수 있을 것 같아요.